Alright, hello there, and welcome to another weekly recap. Today, we're going to be talking about what has basically transpired the last week regarding Starfield, and also just general things, I suppose. So first and foremost, hope you guys have been having a good week. I do plan on doing these every week, so if you guys have any questions you want to ask me, I'd like to do like a little Q&A section. You can either just put a question on the in the channel or on the comments of this video, and I will get to it next one. Or if you want to join the Discord and just kind of we'll sort out something for that. So anyway, let's get to it. So there's been no major Starfield news this week at all. We're still kind of dealing with the upset of a lack of an update or anything. It is what it is. Another day, no ship parts. I did put that chair down for Cora, but she seems to not want to sit she probably can't sit next, it's too close, I think. But yeah, so regarding mods and the modding front, we've got some pretty cool mods that have come out in the last week or so. One mod in particular, which I will be covering, well, there's two mods specifically, but there's one mod I've already covered, and then there's another mod that I will be covering. So the Rover Hallhaul mod, which basically allows you to store your rev or your daemog in your ship, that is an awesome mod. I highly recommend you guys checking it out. I have a review of it. I'll maybe put an annotation here if I can remember. But seeing mods like that kind of add where Bethesda failed to is something that I love to see. I think myself and probably everyone in the Starfield community was mind-boggled when Bethesda didn't implement some sort of a rover hab that you needed to attach to your ship to allow you to actually, deploy your rover. A very big company like Bethesda, it wouldn't have taken them that long to have some sort of it would act as a second bay specifically for the rover. You could drop the ramp down, drive the vehicle in, drive the vehicle out, sort of stuff, and you could see the vehicle. Oh, that's a weird creature coming past. It's just, it's a weird one. I don't know why, but Rover Hall does a decent job at kind of alleviating that. It also adds a kind of a fuel system. Now currently there is mods that take advantage of the Rover Hall. So by default, if you don't have any other mods, it doesn't add any habs to the ship. But what you can do is you can place little mats, or a little garage kind of mat. Well, there's just a straight mat and there's a garage mat. And it allows you to basically, you can go up to the rover and you can press A on it or whatever your interact is. And you can either set it so that it always deploys when you land or it doesn't. Now, hopefully the mod author will maybe improve upon it. I don't know if they will, but it would be very cool to have an actual hab specifically for it. But yeah, it's really awesome. Another mod that I want to talk about, and again, I will have a review on it, but I just want to kind of highlight it. That's one of the things with kind of these kind of recap, is being able to kind of say more stuff that I might have missed in reviews, or things that weren't really relevant in reviews. So I believe it's called Better Boarding, or More Boarding Action. It's basically a mod that makes it so that whenever you board an enemy ship or you dock with it, depending on the setting, there's a chance that enemies will actually board you. And it uses I think the description is all about the dialogue specifically. It brought in some dialogue so that the NPCs will interact or will talk about your ship. Now, when I tested, I didn't have that issue, or I didn't have them say anything, but I will say that it's really cool. I think boarding is something that again we have wanted. I think anybody who does any sort of shipbuilding or stuff would love for enemy ships to want to board us instead of us just boarding them. It would be a really cool function, and I've mentioned it many times in the past. If depending on the factions of the ship and depending on kind of what your ship is, for instance, if you're in a C-class ship and you're getting attacked by A or B class ship, or their Crimson Fleet or Varun or Ecliptic, they would try and disable you and board you, and then you would have this kind of little mini game side of thing where you have to defend your ship from boarders. There could be multiple waves, and if you succeed in the multiple waves, you could then choose to either detach the lock and fly away, or board their ship and kind of take over it. And if you fail, maybe you get arrested or marooned on a planet, and you lose access to your ship again. Would depend on the faction. Factions like Spacers, yeah. House Faroon probably wouldn't. They would just outright kill you. Ecliptic, I don't think would outright kill you. They'd probably like drop you off somewhere. And it could also tie into like the bounty system. Like imagine if like the UC, like if you had a bounty, the UC would want to arrest you. And they like actively like board. Like imagine having like UC Marines like breaching into your ship. It'd be very, very cool. Again, I don't know why Bethesda didn't add it in. Like part of me is like starting to think with like Starfield specifically that, and it's a weird one for Bethesda, but I think maybe was there time constraints on some stuff? Like usually Bethesda is the sort of company where like when the game comes out, they then kind of like will release like content that like was made around the time of like, so when the game is done, like for Skyrim and I believe Fallout 2, when they had completed like work on the base game, they do like kind of a game jam thing where like all the devs just kind of come together and kind of do fun stuff. And like that's where Hearthfire came from, and certain elements of Dawnguard, and I believe that's where like certain elements from the workshops, the various workshop DLCs. And it seems like Starfield, like we don't really have anything like major. Like they added some new stuff, obviously like the new map and stuff, which was I think really cool. And they added the rover, but like for the most part, it seems like I feel like a lot of the stuff missing. Is it down to like were they pressed for time? I know some elements of the game they chose to not add in, like the fuel system. Till the very end, they were going to go with a fuel system where you would have to resupply your ship with helium-3. That's where the whole kind of the boosters come from. You notice how there's you can basically get these like grav boost thingies that you can apply on your outposts. And I believe it's am I correct in saying that? Maybe am I just making this up? I feel like it's a thing where basically it was meant to increase your jump capabilities. Because, you know, early game, you wouldn't be able to jump very far, and with the fuel being limited. But they pulled it last minute because they decided against it, which I can understand it, but I think that they should have implemented it into a survival mode. Currently in game, we do have like survival mode is another one. We have the gameplay option, which I think is really cool, and I like the ability to tweak systems, and I love that mod authors are making use of said systems. But it would be nice if they were to actually implement like a fuel system. We have mods that do it now, but as much as I love, you know, I'm a big fan of mods. Ultimately, I would love to see Bethesda kind of implement their own stuff, like with ship parts and stuff. Now, obviously, if you're the creator of the fuel mod, you're probably going to be like, fuck, that's my mod, you just motherfucker. But I'm assuming they would compensate them or whatever. But yeah, because ultimately I want to see like Bethesda's take on everything, because I mean it's their game. That kind of came across like kind of targeted, but it wasn't. But yeah, let me know like what features you guys would like to see that you feel like Starfield needs. You know, like something that you kind of like, you play the game and you're like, that's not a feature. Like, I think one of the big ones for me, aside from the shipbuilding, is just how it does the outpost system. Like, you have so many different factions that talk about, like, or so many different instances of, like, settlements and colonies. There is the list, which is the League of Independent Settled Systems. I don't know what it's called for specifically, but they like tease like the fact that, you know, you can go and, well, they don't tease, you can work for them and learn whether planets are habitable and stuff. And I just feel like not being able to do a Fallout 4 esque like settlement system, like a proper like a colony system where you can like build houses for NPCs and you can give them jobs and stuff. To me, it just seems like, what the hell, Bethesda? Where was that? Like, I know I've said this before. I know not a lot of people liked the settlement system, interesting. Like, some people loved it. I loved it. But I think a lot of people didn't like it because it kind of removed a lot of the settlements in the game. Like, I think there's probably a handful of like actual non-player settlements in the game. I think there's Diamond City, Good Neighbor, and honestly, that's probably all. I mean, there might be more, but yeah. And I get it, because I think like that's why like mods like Sim Settlement are so good, because it's nice to kind of just build and forget sort of thing. But I think maybe that's why they kind of like went away from it, because they were like they didn't want to. But even then, it's weird. Like currently the Outpost system, it's very much designed in a way where you as the player are just supposed to use it to manufacture resources for yourself with the intent of kind of selling them, you know, and I mean for your own goods, like. And I feel like there's some people that obviously like that, and there's people that role play with that, but like it's not like a very necessary part of the gameplay loop, in my opinion. Like there's nothing specifically unique tied to the Outpost system specifically, whereas like settlements in Fallout had like a really big part of the game. And I am hoping at some point we will get some sort of a colony builder. Like it would be very cool. Like imagine you could like go through the routes of like basically claiming a planet for yourself, and you could like, or even a system, and you could like build like various different cities or settlements, and like you could upgrade them so they could start off as like, you know, like a settlement, then like a town, a city, like, you know, even like to the point of being able to rival New Atlantis. I know that No Man's Sky has added it, and to be honest I haven't played No Man's Sky in a while, but I've seen some gameplay of players settlements, and they look fucking awesome. So again, it's just it's one of these situations where it's kind of like, why Bethesda? What was the issue? Was it a time kissing thing, or like a time constraint? Because like it does seem like game development is getting more expensive despite technology getting better, and oh, I did hit my mic. Despite technology getting better and like arguably kind of getting cheaper to an extent. Thanks, Cora. Can you just sit down, Cora? You asshole. But yeah, because of that, like, despite all of that, like, it's more expensive. Like, Starfield is more expensive to make than Fallout was. So obviously, that's a big kind of element of it. And that's probably why, like, certain choices were made. Now, I wouldn't necessarily agree with all of the choices. Like, so for instance, like I'm assuming, part of me thinks that they probably went very heavy into the shipbuilder as opposed to the settlement builder, maybe because, you know, they only wanted to put money, like they were kind of banking on the shipbuilder being, which fair, good choice. The only thing with the shipbuilder that makes me kind of wonder like what's going on Bethesda is like no ship parts. Like we've had a couple of updates and one major expansion, and there's no ship parts came with the major expansion, which the only logical reason for there not being ship parts with Shattered Space, in my opinion, was that Shattered Space was made pre-launch of the game, so they were like finishing it up. Like, you know, they had the ideas and stuff before the game launched, and like they weren't really aware of how good shipbuilding was going to be. Which, I mean, fair enough, but yeah, give us ship parts, Bethesda. So that being said, if like the next expansion comes out and we don't have ship parts, or even if we like look, like I'm going to be honest with you, like going forward, obviously we're going to get news about like this new expansion. Like the way it's going realistically is it's the rumors and the speculation, the hopium of the fans like myself, we're thinking that it's probably going to be the whatever content Bethesda has been working up is probably going to be a gamescom, which is in August, so 2 months away. There is QuakeCon. I'm not sure when QuakeCon is. That would kind of work too. Now, we still have the rumor of the PlayStation release, which we're pretty sure it's coming. But if it is a case of it's only going to come out around, like, say, for instance, like if we're going to get information in August, right? Realistically, we're probably like most of the focus is probably going to be on the new expansion, the supposed Starborn expansion, and it worries me that it just worries me on like what's next for Bethesda, because they obviously said they wanted the game to keep going forward. There's been rumors circulating. I think there was a Forbes article I've seen people mention that like the game is dead and Bethesda are moving on. That's not the case at all. That's just it's just an opinion piece. And to be honest, I think everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I think that person's opinion is my opinion of them is they're a fucking moron. Like, I understand not everyone is going to be as hopeful. I know that I am a very much I come across naive. Like, if you watch the live stream of me reacting to the Xbox showcase, I kind of went in there very excited. I thought we were going to get something. We got nothing, and my hope kind of died. But that being said, I don't really understand the point of people just instantly jumping and going like, "Oh, the game's dead, ha, game's dead." Like, I never understand that with any game, because like, one, there's no proof. If like Bethesda came out and said it, fair enough, but they haven't. Like, the last communication we got from them, they're hard at work, and they'll show us when they're ready, which fair, you know. Hopefully that's sooner rather than later. Bethesda, where's our goddamn ship parts? But I'm just interested to see, because even, and I've said this before, even if it is an instance where we get, look, let's say August comes out, right? Gamescom, we get a Starfield section. Their main focus is going to be probably on expansion, right? Now, if they've been working on this expansion, like this is just saying, like, worst-ish case scenario, they're working on expansion. It might be awesome. It's probably going to be paid, though, realistically. And then they're just going to probably drop the expansion alongside like a PlayStation release, and then just nothing. Now, not to say that that expansion could be the best thing ever. It could be, you know, best thing since sliced bread or bottled sparkling water. Yeah, I drink sparkling water. What? Don't at me. But my concern is, like, again, the kind of the going forward, because, like, to be honest, I would expect, since we haven't got anything since Shattered Space, right? And the next expansion is going to be coming out around the time of when Shattered Space was. So it's going to be probably end of September. I would like to see content, like, I think we're overdue content from, let's say, from Christmas up until August, you know, because there's been absolutely nothing. Like, hell, I wouldn't have even minded like paid DLC. You know, I'd have no problem throwing Bethesda like $10 to $15 or euros every couple of months, you know, like for new updates, if they're gonna do that. Like, I think with yeah, I feel like they need to reiterate, like, and hopefully they will, with the, like, whenever we get them talking, we just need to hope that they talk as much as possible and let us know what was going on, why did it take so long, and what was the switch up. Why did you guys go from, you know, doing these kind of bi-monthly updates and stuff, and like doing the Vidocs, to nothing, you know? Like, it just, yeah. And I'm hoping that they do go back doing the Vidocs, because that's one thing I enjoyed doing. I like seeing kind of, you know, like hearing from like various different, you know, people at Bethesda, like, you know, how they tackled certain problems, you know, like, you know, updates, you know, what they were hoping to achieve, stuff like that. Just give us an insight. Like, I know Bethesda's their thing is like, oh, we'll shadow drop it, you know, blah. And look, shadow dropping works because it keeps people like hyped, but at the same time, it's like, I just want a little bit of news, you know? I suppose that's pretty much it regarding that sort of stuff. The one thing I will say, and I've seen a few people mention, so regarding mods, something you guys should be aware of. So updates for mods, specifically paid mods, they have to go through QA, and they have to be tested to make sure that now I say tested very loosely, because if you've watched my content, you know that I don't know if QA know what Starfield is. Slight joke there, but yeah. But they have to be tested and they have to pass certification. And it can take a while. I know people were excited about a Watchtower update that's supposedly coming. I don't know if it'll be out by this point, but generally speaking, if a mod author's like, look, updates, you know, it's been sent through the Bethesda, it is then in Bethesda's hands, and it can take time. Like, because let's say, for instance, the update could go to Bethesda, they could test it, find an issue, send it back. And then, not to mention that, like, even just pushing an update through could take a while. Like, I remember when, because there's been, like, speculation stuff about, like the Watchtower, you know, King Gath kind of getting some favoritism and stuff with Bethesda. And to be honest, if that was the case, like I'm not necessarily against it personally because they've made good content for Bethesda. They've made money for Bethesda. But when I was talking to King Gath about the first update, like kind of the day one patch, I suppose, he told me like it was like gonna take at least a week, and I'm like, really? Even though like Watchtower is kind of the biggest like, I mean, piece of content for Bethesda, like, yeah, they don't, there's no special treatment, which, again, a lot of people are probably going to be happy with that because, there's probably people there that think that, specific mod authors shouldn't get special treatment, which I'm not really going to weigh in on because I can see the pros and the cons. But yeah, so if you are like waiting on an update, like if you've heard, if the mod author themselves being genuine is like updates coming, it's not on them anymore, it's on Bethesda. I know sometimes updates can go live. Sometimes if you're lucky it can be a couple of days, sometimes it can be months. I remember one mod author who I was chatting with and stuff, we were doing like a review for one of their mods, and they were waiting like a month and a half almost for their update to go live. Now, I didn't know the ins and outs of it, whether they were kind of going back and forth, but I just know that it can take a lot of time. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I suppose the other thing I will say, like non-Starfield related stuff, is I've been saying this in streams. So I stream Starfield Friday at 7:30 p.m. GMT, and I stream Starfield on Saturday at 10 p.m. GMT. If you're in the Discord, there is a little section in the top left of the Discord, right under the channel name, where you can click on the events and you can see the streams. I also stream Tuesday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. And usually I'm streaming Oblivion. We're like almost done Oblivion. We've got like the Thieves Guild quest and the main quest with Oblivion, and then we're pretty much done with that. I have been like looking at potentially, because I'm gonna like split the streams up. So obviously, Friday and Saturday is gonna be the Starfield stuff, and then like Tuesday and Wednesday is gonna be something different. I have been looking at Dune specifically, doing some streams, that maybe some gameplay. It just looks quite interesting. I'm gonna be honest, the Ornithopter, I seen it. Is it Ornithopter or Ornicopter? No, it'd be Thopter. Because helicopter is Helico. PTR. Yeah, it'd be Ornithopter. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about like that. Again, it's going to be a while. I'm still kind of waiting because obviously it looks really cool, but it's there's a couple of red flags that immediately go up. One, it's a PvE/PvP MMO game that kind of styles itself similar to Ark. And I've seen some. I don't think I would. The PvP is like split quite well. You don't have to PvP if you don't want to, but I'm just gonna watch it closely for a week or two more just to see how because it does look very good, but it also seems to be a bit jank. It is coming to console, and I would prefer to play it on console, but it's one of those games where like I don't know if I could like personally wait. I know but we shall see anyway. But I will be doing, once like Oblivion is done, depending on like if I get latched to a specific game, the Tuesday and Wednesday streams will just be kind of random games. So if you guys have any suggestions for games you'd like me to play, let me know. Also might do some 76 streams just because I really want to go back and do some fishing. Might do some fishing. I know obviously that's probably not going to benefit everybody because people are watching my content for Starfield, but I would appreciate if you tried if you could. I know the Wednesday or the Tuesday and Wednesday streams, they're obviously not the most appropriate time for my American audience, or I mean anyone that's not Irish or UK or European. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget, if you have any question to ask, just put them in the comments, and I will check them next time. Bye-bye.